Hello, hello, everybody. As you can see, I have a special guest here today. Are you this way or this way?
Yes.
This way. From my perspective, Jean is sitting on my left. This is SunPsychic Jean, and I know so many people out there know Jean. She does fabulous work in psychic and medium world. She does some beautiful pendulum readings and lots of really fun collaborations. So welcome, Jean.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind compliments and the kind words, Kelly. And I too love to watch you and your collaboration or your dowsing rods shows. And yeah,
Yes.
it's really fabulous.
Yep. Sorry for the noise. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Great fun. Great fun. They're really they're amazing tools, I think. They really do bring some clarity and great guidance. Hi, Jessica, Lynn, Cat Mama, Lucy, and Dora. Thanks for coming here today. Great to see everyone. I know everybody knows Jean, but if you don't, please go over to her channel. She has amazing content. Um, a prolific YouTuber, I would say. She doesn't admit to that, but lots of content on YouTube and really interesting, beautiful collaborations. So thank you for that.
It's a
So,
lot of fun.
yeah.
I find that it's really helpful. I feel like it's important to share the information with as many people as possible because we're going to be needing this extra, like sixth sense or this awareness and this sensitivity to energy. I think
Mhm.
that it's really important for everybody to experience this and to tap into it in any way that they can for themselves.
Mhm. I couldn't agree more, and, we hear about the new Earth. I think people talk about it coming. I think we're in the process right now, but it's bumpy, and I think a lot of people are in a lot of chaos. I think it's really important for all light workers, and I would probably say most of our people in the chat, all of them, we're all light workers, and we really need to do what we can to sort of help people through this interesting time that we live in. I'm excited personally. I don't know about you, Jean.
I am
I'm
too.
excited
Yes.
for what's to come. And I do think we're all going to become more and more intuitive. But I also think that healing that comes from this work is going to be very, very needed. Yeah. So, especially mediumship, because I think a good mediumship reading is as healing. Would you agree? As years of therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really is. And not just for the sitter, what we call like a client, but for myself as well. I'm reminded and humbled by the unconditional love that I feel coming through when I connect with your loved ones. It's 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 undescribable really. And it really is, it expands my skill and my own awareness and my understanding about what the other side holds and why we are here in this world as humanity and our own soul that is contained in this human vessel, and it is just reinforced and reinforced, and the understanding and the reverence and the honoring that takes place when I do connect with loved ones or with pets or with spirit guides. It really isn't just so like a bar trick or something. It's lovely to have the wow factor, but the energetic, unconditional love and the change in our vibration and frequency is really what is most important for me and my journey too.
I think I couldn't agree with you more. And what it does for me as well, I'm sure it does for you. I think the word that comes to me the most, like the strongest in this regard is trust. So the more readings you do, the more you realize you have to lean into that trust. And the more you trust, the more they give you. And so it's a really beautiful process. It is an honor to be able to tap into other people's loved ones, and it's absolute. It's absolutely beautiful in my mind. It's really, really beautiful. And I'm looking right now. We have some questions already popping in. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. It's really nice to see you here. I'm going to ask Jean a few questions if she doesn't mind, and see if we can learn a little bit more about Jean that you don't already know from her beautiful channels. And the first I want to talk about quickly is your backstory. Like, first of all, I want to say we have one thing in common. Now, I don't know if you're from Maryland, but I am
Not
from
orig
Maryland. What's
Mhm.
that?
Not originally. I'm originally from the Philadelphia area in Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep, I can hear that a little bit. It sounds a little Baltimore to me. My husband's from Baltimore. I'm from the DC area. So,
Mhm.
I don't know, DC tends to, yeah, you can have kind of a really horrible accent in that area, or just no accent. I think that's my family.
Mhm.
Um, we're a melting pot. So you live in Maryland, and yeah, I went to University of Maryland way back in the day. I'm a grad from University of Maryland, as many of my family members are. So it's so nice to talk to a fellow Marylander. Would you consider yourself a Marylander at this point?
Absolutely. I've been here for 20 years, so I'm definitely a Marylander. And I'm actually the one of the psychic fairs coming up. The very next one is going to be held at the on the campus of University of Maryland in one of
Oh,
their yeah. Hmm.
very nice.
Yep,
Okay, I
yep,
miss it.
it's really close to me. It's maybe 10 minutes, less than 10 miles. But
Okay.
I'm also really close to the White House too. And as the crow flies, approximately 15 miles. But because of the way that DC
Mhm,
is laid out into like that wagon wheel, kind of a spokes everywhere,
mhm.
it takes a lot longer to get there than 15 minutes. But it's about
Oh, yeah.
15 miles away. And I'm one exit off of the Beltway. So I'm very much into when people say where are you from, I usually just say the DC area because it's like Northern Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So,
Mhm. That's right.
mhm.
Yep, I am very familiar. I know exactly what you mean. I used to, when I went to University of Maryland, I used to work downtown near the, in like a college job, right down near the White House and the mall and all that kind of stuff. But I miss it a lot. I really do. A lot of friends and
Oh,
family there, and so it's nice to chat with another Marylander.
oh.
Yep, that's great. Well, and what brought you there? Was it a job or
My husband's job,
your
but
husband's
yes.
job?
Mhm,
Okay.
he worked for the government and, was transferred down, and it was definitely meant to be. I found, some of my spiritual teachers here. I found my first shamanic teacher down here, and, mm, my Reiki teacher is from DC down here as well. So it was almost as if I needed to be transported into a different vibration in order for me to begin on my journey. I've always been interested in the spiritual world and, psychics and mediums and things like this, but my own personal quest or search for my own healing led me to my Reiki teacher first of all, because conventional doctors. I think I had like low back pain and just really like bad pain that was unable to be diagnosed with regular doctors and with medication. I just nothing ever worked for me, so I went searching for the alternative type of medicine, and this is where I found Reiki. I had Reiki done once, and I'm like, I can feel them working on me. I can feel the shift and the
Right, they're not
change in.
touching you, but you feel the energy. Yes, nice.
Mhm. And I said, I have to learn how to do this. I have to, it's just, I couldn't not do it. I couldn't not learn how to do it. And that's what sort of started me on my journey is searching for my own healing and my own. And I think that it's quite possible because I no longer have pain, but it could be possible that I was given this pain or this condition in order for me to begin my search on my spiritual journey.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a thought, just an idea, just to consider. But I think that
Well,
everything happens for a reason.
I
Mhm.
subscribe to that theory as well because I was the same actually, Jean. I was always very interested in alternative medicine, and then my first son came along, and he was sort of a challenge and had sensory and issues and, um, some lots of anxiety and just a hard kid to manage in that regard. Just transitions were difficult and things like that. And then my second one came along and had some very critical physical health problems, multiple surgeries, very young. And I remember having this breakdown with my mother, like, "Oh, why? I've got one with physical difficulties and one with mental, emotional difficulties. Why?" And this was right around the time that I too started studying different alternative medicine practices, and I also have I have a I call it a degree because it was 3 years long, but it was a very intensive certificate program in, nutrition therapy. So I also believe in nutrition as well as a piece, as a component, but I believe, just like you, that I was, given these children in my life to bring out these skills. And I mean, I even believe it's karmic. I know that I was a healer in a past life. I just know this and inherently, and you probably were too at some point, Jean. So if you subscribe to that. But
Absolutely.
yeah, well, you answered one of my questions. How did you get into this, the world of woo? I call it the world of woo. So how did you progress into the other work with the psychic and mediumship?
Mhm. Well, I think that I had some occurrences that would happen to me. And there were signs, synchronicities, and coincidences, which we all know are not coincidences, and knowings that came through. I knew when one of my nieces were pregnant, and my brother has two girls. And I called them both and I said, I don't know which one it is, but which one of you are pregnant? And they're like, no, Angie, no. No, it's neither one of us. They're married and stuff. But so I'm like, okay. So then, like a month and a half later, they called back and said, well, I was pregnant, but we was so early, we couldn't tell you. How did you know? And I just had this really strong feeling, this strong knowing. And when you
Mhm.
get something that strong, you have this insatiable sort of desire to uncover the truth or figure out why it's happening. And similarly, one morning when I was in bed and I was just waking up, I heard outside of my bedroom window, which was like a second floor window, I heard a man's voice outside of the window. And he said, I'm the man who died last night. And my husband was already up. He's an early riser. So I got up and came out to the kitchen and I told him what I heard. And he's like, well, he said, you have a 50-50 chance because we're in an aging neighborhood. There's a lot of old folks on my street here. And I could tell what street it was. It wasn't this street. It was this street here.
Mhm.
And, and then like about a week later, we saw like a dumpster and a truck and a bunch of people like clearing out the house and throwing some things away. And I'm like, that's the guy that told me he died last
Isn't
night.
that
So,
crazy? Wow.
but
I had a very similar story too. This was in the beginning of, the pandemic, and a lot of my things come when I'm walking my dog. And they did. They're more now, it's all the time. But, I was, walking my dog, and I had a neighbor. I was walking by a neighbor's house, and I wasn't visited by her, but I heard, by my guides or her guides, "She will not be with us long." I
oh,
heard it just like that, and I was like, "Whoa, what a morbid thought. What am I gonna go knock on on their door and say, 'Hey, watch out,' your time's coming." So, I was like, "Oh, that was a really morbid thought. Why am I thinking this?" And then the next day, the next door neighbor came over and said, "Did you hear that Joy died?" Joy was her name. And, you know I I about fell down because I just thought, "Wow." And then I had another interesting experience, which I don't recommend, where another neighbor died of a heart attack. And this was it was for me, it was the day before his experience, he died. Um, but I literally felt like I was having a heart attack. I even called
Oh,
911.
oh
And
my
I have no
God.
history, and I have I was I just I called my mother, and I called my husband, and I was like, "I need to go to the hospital. Like, I feel dizzy, and I'm sweating, and my heart is pounding, and my pulse is racing, everything, and I don't know what's going on." And then, like, I think, like, 2 days later, I heard that he had died, and I really do believe that I was feeling the energy of his passing. He was alone, apparently. His wife was out, running errands or something. And so I'm asking my guides not to send me messages that way anymore. It was expensive. B, it was scary. And, there really wasn't anything I can do. It's just, and so would you say that your strongest clair is, well, you said that you hear, and I do hear as well, but would you say you're more of a claircognizant, or like you have these knowings?
I do have knowings, but my clairsentience, I think, is a little stronger. I feel and sense energy and vibration, and this gives me that information. But the information and the feeling almost come in together. So my clairsentience and my claircognizance sort of work in tandem. And my actual clairaudience is one of the ones that is the weakest, I feel. And when I hear your loved ones speak, it's more of a knowing, it's more of
Mhm.
a, but it's not as much. So that was very unique when that happened. But I do actually still practice today, and I still practice all my clairaudience because it is one of my weaker ones. And I
Mhm.
do work with Terry Lee, Pure Visionary. She has an amazing ear. She can hear so much, so well. It's amazing the things that come out of her mouth that she can say for verbatim or verbatim for what the loved ones are saying on the other side. And the other one that can hear is Mark the Spirit Whisperer. He hears like his guides talk to him, and he goes like this, and he like
Mhm.
listens. He's like, I can hear them.
I've seen
Uh,
that.
it's it's so amazing, so magical. I
They're
feel
fun
it's
to
more
watch.
a
Mhm.
feeling of clairsentience and
Mhm.
claircognizance for me.
Right. I
And,
kind of
and
feel like
then
those are big for me too. The hearing is less frequent, but that is also, and it's just like you said, it's more of a, I say I heard it, but it is more of a my own voice in my head kind of thing. And but it's the message comes through in a way that really I know it's not from me. I know it's
mhm,
why would I ever think or say in my head, "She won't be with us long?" That's crazy. But yeah, and I think most of us have a little bit of everything,
right,
Some
right.
are stronger than others, but that's very interesting. Now, would you say when you were Reiki attuned, that's when everything really came online?
Yes, I could definitely tell the difference about the connectivity to my spirit guides because we were connecting with the Reiki masters in order to bring through the energy for healing. And this is how I learned to connect and focus and feel or sense the information that was coming from the other realms or the higher realms. And then to also be sensitive to the nuance in the energetic field.
Mhm,
That's Reiki really taught me how to focus and pay attention to the subtle energies, and
mhm,
and same with the healing. The crystal healing taught me to tune into that subtle energy. And your loved ones on the other side, and the messages from your spirit guides are not like the way you and I speak to each other. It's very subtle, and it comes through in like a fraction of a second.
So, and that's where I say you really have to lean into that trust, allowing and trusting. Because if there have been many times in readings I think we all do this, where we say, "Well, I'm not going to say that. That's a weird thought. Why would I repeat that to them?" But when you do, you realize, oh, it has so much meaning for the sitter, right?
Hmm.
Um, well, that's interesting too. And so you feel like your hands. Do you still do Reiki healings on people?
I do energy healing.
Mhm.
So I combine it with sound healing, crystal healing, and Reiki healing. So I just call it energy healing. Yeah.
Well, that was my next question. What's in your bag of tricks? We know that you do Reiki. We know you do mediumship.
This is
Oh.
my Reiki doll, and it's often recommended when you're doing a long distance type of Reiki to get like a teddy bear. But I found this, and this is my Reiki angel, and she has, arms and legs that move. So if I can concentrate on your feet, I can concentrate on your crown chakra, and this is the crown chakra up here. I can concentrate on your third eye, on your throat chakra, and I have used this as a surrogate, and she's a little angel. There's her little wings. But this is what I use for my long distance energy healing. And it's the
Oh.
same way. I would hold my pendulum over top of the I would have the doll here, and I would check all of your chakras to see if they're balanced, and then I would work on them, and then I would check them again, and you would see the difference. And it is through intention and is through energetic that we ask that for the client, that the energy be transported here so that I can work on the client's energy here. And it's very abstract, and it's not very concrete, and it's the intention and the trust that the energy is uh is working, that
Mhm.
it just
Yes.
yeah. And
So
if you've
you
ever
test
had
the
Mhm,
chakras or the different
mhm,
areas of the body with the pendulum. Yeah, I've done that
mhm,
before. Yeah,
mhm.
that's nice. And
Yeah,
so
so
is that doll marketed as a Reiki doll, or did you just
no.
buy it and
No,
find
I just, a children's store, and I was actually looking for a teddy bear is what they recommended. This was, a while back, but it had to have articulated limbs and stuff, and made, at some sort of a semblance of a torso and a neck and a head. And, so it was difficult to try and find one. But when I saw that she was an angel, I just knew that she was my Reiki angel. So, yeah.
that's very cool. It almost reminds you, it is all about intention. So, when you think about even like voodoo dolls, right? This is intention. If you're sending somebody bad or good energy, thoughts are real, intention is real, and it comes to fruition. So, um, somebody has a question here. Paisley, I used to say the thought crossed my mind. What Claire is that? I would. Can I say what I think that is? And then I want to
Sure.
ask you. I just think that's claircognizance. I think that's a knowing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I would say as well. And also
Mhm.
it could be messages from your spirit guides and angels. And what just because we are now on YouTube and we're all talking about spirit guides and angel messages, that they're not new to us. These spirit guides and angels have been with us not only throughout this entire lifetime, but through other lifetimes. And we know these spirit guides and angels, and they know us almost better than we know ourselves. And you say, what are they like? And they're very much like us. Some of our mannerisms, some of our inflections, some of our, desires, and the way that some people are just charming, or some people, I feel it has a lot to do with the influence of our spirit guides and angels and the guidance that they're giving us. It's really remarkable, that just because we now are aware of them doesn't mean that they're new to us. They've
Right.
been with us our whole lives, and
Mhm.
the spirit guides are here. They're not the ascended masters. They're not up,
Mhm.
or in the angelic
Right.
forms are here, but our spirit guides are very much our team, our
Mhm.
support, and with us. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well, I would agree, and I think that certain, guides, they're of course, they're with us, but they kind of our whole lives, but they come and they go throughout our lives in whatever degree of prominence that we need in that part of our life, in that time of our life. So, for instance, if this is the time of your life that you need levity, and so the lighthearted one is going to come through and sort of be more of the jokester, or you really need that nurturing energy, then that one is going to be more prevalent in your life. That's the way I believe it to be true
yes,
with
absolutely.
angels and spirit guides in some regards. So I love that. Um, do you know your spirit guides? Do you have one that you feel, or two, or that you're aware of their either name or their presence, whoever they are?
I definitely feel presence, and it's I don't really give my spirit guides a name. I do have a galactic guide that I see that I don't hear. He almost like he's there with his arms crossed, and he has like a long robe on, and he sort of like just watches over me or sends telepathic information. But he I see outside of but my spirit guides and angels are um, more felt, and more energetic, and more supportive. I don't know how to describe it. They are, yeah. And in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I didn't always use the term spirit guides. I always used the term angels. So I started with being connected to my angels and getting messages from my angels and saying my angel said, and it's only, through my psychic and mediumship development that the term spirit guides started coming in. And for me, they're a little bit interchangeable, but I do understand the difference. Yeah.
Right, 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 right. I mean, I don't think that they care. They're not gonna correct you. And I like when some people say my team, right? We all have a team with us, so that's really
Hmm.
nice. I don't necessarily I don't have I think I too have a galactic, guide as well. Um, in fact, I once woke up and knew that it did feel masculine, was in my room, very tall, blue. I mean, where did that come from? I know I live in Colorado, but I wasn't on drugs. But, that was kinda crazy, and I just sort of felt like it was kind of, like, ancestral for me. But I feel the angelic energy and guide energy, but I don't have names. I don't have, I can't really even differentiate them, except I can differentiate. I see colors sometimes. Um, I sense colors, I should say it that way, because sometimes I hear the color. Isn't that weird?
Mm.
But I can actually differentiate the ascended masters. If sometimes when I'm meditating, I can sense Jesus. And I think that he's a big, I'm not religious necessarily, but I feel like because he was a healer and I came to this through the healing arts too, I feel like he's a very big presence for me in my meditation and so forth. I think it's also why my hands are so sensitive. Whenever I think of like Jesus had we have the chakras in the middle of our hands, right?
Right.
That's what he
Right.
had. It's an extension of our heart chakra. And I don't know, I just feel that presence quite a bit. Quite a bit. So, anyway, well, that is very cool, and I'm gonna have to look into that Reiki doll myself. That's quite what I do typically, though, is I have a visual outline in my head of the person's body, and I can scan with my hand, especially my left hand. Left is the receiving hand, but I didn't before I even knew that that was a thing, I was like, "Why is my left hand more sensitive?" And I can actually scan a person's body just virtually um, and say, "Oh, okay, your solar plexus chakra is really, you know, um, calling out to me. It needs some energy. It needs some realignment." So, yeah, very cool, very cool. And do you do private readings?
I do.
Good.
I do psychic mediumship mostly, and I also do spiritual journeying. I do past life readings. They're not regressions. I do regressions, but I don't offer it on my website. But past life readings, where it would almost be like a guided meditation into your past lives, and I take you back to the halls of knowledge. Is the way it was presented to me. And
Mhm.
we go through a corridor of doorways, and the doorways are all different sizes, shapes, colors, and materials. And then you go through the door that you choose, and you see a lifetime of yours. And it is absolutely just mind blowing what happens when you open up that door and you see what's inside and the resonance that's there. It is, I mean, I'm amazed each and every time.
That is
Somebody asked,
incredible. That is
it
incredible.
is,
I've just put Jean's, website up here for you guys, so that sounds like an amazing reading. I would love to do that. Super,
it is,
um
it's really, it is amazing. And the one time I was helping a client, and she wanted to have like almost like a quick little glimpse about one of her past lives. And I said that she was like in the Wild West, and she was a deputy. She wasn't the sheriff, she was a deputy, and she does work in law enforcement today. And she had a horse, and the horse was a cinnamon color horse with like a blonde mane and a blonde stripe down the horse's nose. And this horse was this deputy's everything. Like this horse was his lifeline. This horse was not only transportation, but best friend. Oh, where'd you go? Are you still here? But let's wait till Kelly comes back. I think she just hit the wrong thing. There she
I
goes.
don't know what happened. I was just typing in a message to put I didn't touch anything. That is so strange. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
that's okay. So this deputy, when he would go out on, searches or whatever, this horse saved his life, or kept him warm, kept him safe, and kept him, alive. So this bond between this horse and this deputy was everything. And so she says, and when I'm doing readings, I often close my eyes. And she says, Jean, and I said, yeah. And I opened my eyes. She goes, look. And she was on her phone, and she turned her phone to her. She was sitting on her bed, and on her bed was her dog. Her dog was a cinnamon colored dog with a blonde stripe right down
Oh,
his nose.
isn't that interesting? Ooh, I just got full body chills.
She said, this
Amazing.
dog
Oh,
is my everything. I knew I was connected to him. I knew he was supposed to be mine. And I knew our souls knew each other in a past
mhm.
life. And then after I told this story, somebody else said, well, you know that horses and dogs often reincarnate like as one. And I'm like,
For
I
each
did
other.
not know that.
Mhm. Yeah.
I did
That's
not know that.
incredible. Yeah, I do think I mean, I believe in that. I had a dog who had a very I mean, we had an immediate soul bond. She was I mean, I'm not gonna lie, she was a really funky looking dog. She was part cattle dog and part Chihuahua, and
Mm,
she was just a not, like your first pick, but we picked each other. When we went into the a shelter and immediately, we had this bond. We took her home, and it was as if she had never been away from us. So, yeah, I know
wow.
that feeling, and it's very powerful, I think especially with animals. But, of course, we see the person that we're to marry, and we know it, and that happens as well. The human person as well as the animal. So and do you do animal readings as well?
Yes,
Have you ever done it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I actually have a lot of animals visit me throughout the day, even not only at night, but they come in and they show me themselves, and they almost like give me those puppy dog eyes, or they have their paws up here and looking at me, or some of them are like laying out like, aren't I the queen? And like the images just come in, and I'm like, oh, are you coming for a visit? Are you coming for a visit? And I have that a little bit more as a involuntary occurrence, to have these images of our pets come and visit with me. And I do know that they are an energetic visitation, whether or not they're past or here in this world. I think that they're helping me. I think that, because I know that some people say that loved ones who have passed over come and visit them involuntarily, but so I'm okay with the pets because they're not as intrusive.
Yeah. And you saw this message here. Amanda Carroll says that she thinks her dog was a horse in a past life. And she uses the giddy up clicking sound to direct him. That's great. And I think animals are so psychic. They have so many. I noticed a lot of times, I live in an old 120-year-old house, and my animals frequently, when we're sitting in the living room, will all turn and they look up the steps, like on the steps. And they just don't, which is a little off-putting, but it's also, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, that's cool. Who's here with us? Who's here? I
Mhm.
don't always sense it when they do, but they are very intuitive. And I think they're also they're healers as well. And in fact, I have a story this past week. My dog, I told you we have this guest cat staying in our house, and he's been kind of creating a little bit of havoc because I have a cat and a dog of my own. And this is my son's cat. And he's a kitten. So he's kind of wild, and he's stirring up the other animals. The chi in our house is a little bit off. Um, well, it's really been my dog that's been just getting worked up about him, about the kitten. Um, and so I don't know. Tell me what you think about this. So this has never happened before, and it will not happen again. My dog got off the leash. Well, I let him go if there's right ahead of me, there's a tree with a squirrel in it. I'll let him go so he can bark up the tree for a little bit. But I happen to be on the opposite side of the street, and I only do it on my own block, so it's like really familiar territory for him. Well, instead of going to the tree, he saw something else and he went straight out in the street. And I'm saying it this way, he hit a car,
Mhm.
a moving car that was coming in his direction. Honestly, a split second earlier and he would have been squashed under the tire. And it took him off line for a couple days. He was okay. We went to the vet. He was fine. It was terrifying. I mean, the poor guy in the car was just freaked out. But it took Henry, my dog, out. He was a little out of commission for a couple days, limping. He just like hurt himself a little bit. The poor baby. But it changed the energy dynamic in our household
Oh
again.
my.
So for the better. It calmed him down enough to calm the cat down enough to get everybody's chi back in balance in the house. And so I've just been I was like, your poor dog, but Henry took one for the team. His spirit or our angels did this, I think, kind of made this happen for the good of the household because it was getting a
I
little bit crazy.
I
you know,
agree. I agree.
and so I don't know. Maybe I'm drawing connections where I shouldn't, but I honestly think that I don't believe anything is a coincidence anymore. I don't believe anything is a coincidence. So
No, and it is very purposeful, and it is very necessary, and it is the way that our angels and guides work in our favor. And you knowing this and you sensing this allows for more of this to come in, more intervention. And the same way that, people say they were driving down the street and they saw the truck coming right for them, and then all of a sudden they're on the other side of the road. Like, there's reasons why things happen in the way that they do. And that there is divine intervention. And I feel as though, it all transpired and was divinely orchestrated for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, and it probably would have taken a good 6 months of training and desensitizing Henry in order for him to get used to the kitten. But not only that, but his energy sort of took the other animals in the house down a bit, and sort of balanced everybody. I thought that was really interesting that you said that, because
It
it did
really
affect
did,
everybody.
and I
Mhm.
agree with you, I agree with you. Yeah, because this kitten is likely to become a permanent fixture in our house. Our son is,
Oh,
moving out of his apartment, and he's trying to figure so he's probably gonna be coming with us, and the cat, I have a feeling, is going my son wants to do the Airbnb lifestyle. So the cat's probably gonna stay with us, if you know what I mean.
hmm.
So good for him, and is a sweet kitten. We love it. But well, guys, I see we have some questions. Are you willing to answer some questions here?
Yeah, let's do. Let's
Okay.
do.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the top. I think our first question. Oh goodness. Yes, our first question was from Dora Romero. And I'll give it over to you. She says, "Hi, Kelly and Jean. Can I get a message from my guides?"
And Dora, just say hello and let us know that you're still here,
Yeah,
because I
she
think
was
it's
in here
important.
early, so that's a good point.
Maybe we can.
If not, we can move to the next one. While we're waiting, why don't we do that? We'll go to Teresa White. How about that? And Dora will keep an eye out for you. And why don't you go? Let's see. I would love to hear from my
And
mom.
Teresa, what is your mother's first name? She says, I would love to hear from my mom or any other family member.
Okay. Yep. Let's see if Teresa's still here. Maybe
Especially,
not.
yeah, I saw her recently, so hopefully
Okay.
she's still here. Oh, Dora's here.
Dora's here. All right. Well, let's go back to Dora really quickly, and then we'll get to you, Teresa, if you're here. Okay. All
And
right.
Teresa's here. Good. We know who the next two are. Okay, Dora, message from spirit guides.
And you go first whenever you're ready.
So, Dora, I feel like you might be concerned about somebody in your family or a friend. There's, which happens to a lot of us, that you're either concerned about, worried about, or taken care of. I feel as though you don't have immediate access to this person, which gives you an uneasy feeling. And what the spirit guides want to let you know is that you have access to this universal energy. This is similar to what Kelly and I were just speaking about with the Reiki healing, that you have this energetic, you have the ability yourself, every human does have the ability for intention and for healing. And our thoughts and our prayers are very energetic, and they carry frequency and energy for healing. So if you're concerned with somebody who is away from you, or is, I feel like it's across water, and you feel as though you need to be there, and you do connect with them, but it's you really wish you could be there. And you can send your an like an energy healing ball to be with this person. You can send a connection to this person so that you're aware of their well-being. And also, they want you to trust them. And I feel as though there is a loved one on the other side who is also watching over and taking care of this person that you have a lot of concern over. So they want you to trust and send your offerings of thoughts and prayers and healing energy. And then they want you to take a moment and take a step back and trust that this person is also being taken care of in a divine sense as well.
Very similar to what I got, and I think that's true. I know Dora does have some, has had some family members who are suffering. So, Dora, I'll let you respond. I get something very similar, and your guides are asking you to you might want to take a little more of your energy back, reclaim your energy, because and give yourself some self-care. Self-care is important because my sense is you're worrying about others and more than yourself. And it's time to really kind of reclaim that energy and turn some of that nurturing energy onto yourself. Um, get some rest. And they're also saying I that you are an empath, and really it'd be very important for you to learn to protect yourself from other people's energy, to draw those boundaries, put a bubble around yourself if that's what it takes. But um, say some intentions that their energy is not your energy and yours is not theirs, to bring some of your field bring your field in a little bit closer. Okay. Yeah. I hope that's helpful. Thank you. All right. We have Teresa next. Thank you, Dora.
And Teresa says her mother's name is Sandra, but she prefers Sandy.
Okay, Sandy.
First of all, she wants you to know that she's okay. She wants you to know that she is at peace and that she's being taken care of by the unconditional love force. I feel as though your mother may have also been religious and believed in a higher power, and she says, "I'm with them now." So there's lots of roses, lots of flowers, and divine feminine energy around her. And she may have had either an older sister or a very young mother that is there with her. So she is being taken care of by family members. She is where she's intended. Like, in other words, she found her way, and she says that she's filled with light now. And she says, "When you think of me," she's telling me that you may have, I don't know if you saw her or if you saw her in a dream, but she's showing me herself with a really big smile and this luminescent light coming through her. And I'm not sure if you thought you saw her, like if somebody looked like your mother and you went like this, you're like, that looks just like my mom. But and then the person turned and it wasn't her. But she's saying that her energy, she's trying to let you know that she is okay and that she is vibrant and very well taken care of. And she's in the arms of unconditional love, is what she wants you to know. And so this is something she wants you to be reassured. And but I feel as though she did have some sort of an illness before she passed, and it was very difficult for her to go through some sort of treatment for that illness, and it was very difficult to watch. She was asking you to let that go and to know that she is filled with light and surrounded by unconditional love and is in a safe and peaceful state of being right now.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah, I also get that there was an illness at the end. She feels like she was very ill at the end. And I am drawn to my my stomach area, my kind of lower abdomen. So I don't know if this may have been like an intestinal problem or cancer of some sort, but it feels like it was difficult. She also comes across to me. She comes across fine, like, and she's feeling much better, like Jean said, but she feels like she had somewhat of a difficult life. There were complications. We all have complications, but I feel like she had a little bit of a chaotic life earlier on, and maybe even into her older years, that kind of carried through. It could have affected her mental health a little bit, is what I'm sensing. If not her mental health, just, maybe just she just feels like she had a lot on her. If that makes any sense. Let's see. And that's really all that I'm getting. I agree with Suzanne. It feels like she feels like she wants you to know it's a relief. She's there and she's whole again, because she feels like she was quite sick before she passed to me. So thank you very much, Teresa. And let me go ahead. I know this is something that that you do, Jean. I have Fitness Life, Liz Reeves, and Lucy Lekic. If you're here, please let us know. I'm going to go ahead and put Fitness Life up. And if you are, give us a shout out if you're here. Thank you. And I also mentioned, if you're asking for a mediumship reading, it does help, especially in such a short time frame, to give us a name. Okay, for a mediumship. Thank you. All right. Do we have? I see Lucy is here. You're welcome, Teresa. Fitness. We'll give you couple more seconds here, and otherwise we can move on to Liz. I know Liz is here. I've seen her. Yes. Okay. Let's move on to Liz, and if Fitness Life turns back up, then we can go to her. Okay. I have a message from my sister-in-law, Dina. Sorry. I miss her. It's been a couple of years since she passed. Okay. I always talked about connecting with me, but I haven't. Okay.
Thanks, Liz. That was really helpful.
Yeah. I'll go if you're.
Yeah, go ahead. Go first.
Well, she presents herself immediately to me with a big bunch of white roses for you, Liz, like as if she wants to thank you for the beautiful support that you gave her toward the end of her life and really throughout your life. I'm getting chills with it. She's like, actually, I feel like she's touching me on the head. Okay. Something about your children too. She's bringing attention to her children or to your children. You had a connection there. It feels like I believe what she's saying is that she feels that you support, you're a big support to her kids, her living children, after her passing, and you're almost like a mom to them. That's the feeling that she's giving me. She just really wants to thank you. I mean, I feel like she's your only daughter. She didn't have any. So maybe only your daughter. Then she had a connection with your daughter because I'm seeing this child. There's something about this child with you, Liz. And I know that Liz's daughter, I know what it is. Oh, I got it. Liz's daughter just went off to college in Boston. I know it was a big deal. And so I think what Dina is telling us is that she's there and she's supporting her. She does feel like she protects her as if she were her own child. So know that that's really beautiful energy too.
That is really beautiful. So Liz, what I was picking up from Dina is that she said that she's already around you and nearby. She's saying that she is also a little bit busy on the other side. And she's saying it's almost like she is focusing on sort of getting acclimated and finding her way in the afterlife. And she is learning. There's some sort of a learning that she's going through on the other side, but she says that she always has an eye on you and the family. And she's working on like building this energy. She says that that you and your open-mindedness and your ability to speak to her about this afterlife and her progress really gave her a sense of well-being, like a sense, almost like a calmness or a reassurance that somebody else, it wasn't just her own imagination and she didn't have to wonder, what would happen when, and she just wants to thank you for being that confidant and that open-minded individual that she was able to connect with and understand these concepts with. So this is a soul bond. I feel as though you two have been in lifetimes together, and that in this lifetime you were there to help her with her transition and with her understanding of her transition. And she's just saying that she wants to thank you for helping her and she's saying you're more than a sister-in-law. And I think you have always knew that there was a little bit more. You were friends and you got along as if you knew each other for a longer period of time. And that was because your souls were familiar with each other. So she wants you to trust that and to build on that. She's encouraging you to work more on sharing this information with other people and not keeping it so close to, like, tell everybody, not just few. And she wants to encourage you to, on your spiritual journey as well. Mhm.
Mhm. And I feel everything you said too, and I feel like she's also it's like, uh, for me, Dina feels as if she's trying to validate to you that everything that you've shared with her was correct. Now on the other side. Now that she's there, she's saying, "It's all true. It's all true. We are eternal." That's beautiful. Okay. And I know that we have Lucy remind me if I'm saying this correctly, Lekich or Lekic. I don't recall. Lucy, Jessica Lynn, and then Paisley is the order that we're going in. So thank you. May I have a spirit guide reading, please, Lucy? I'm going to let you go first on this. You're so good. Okay, Lucy.
So, Lucy, they want you to work on practicing your own connection. And you may be interested in Reiki as well, being it's sort of like what they call like the gateway modality, enabling you to get acquainted with energies. They're saying that you are drawn to these types of live shows because you have this ability that is awakening inside of you, and they want you to cultivate this and to begin and to enhance your own practice. I said begin, and they corrected me because you've already begun your own practice. You already have your own practice. You already have your experiences and your um, I feel as though you have a practice as well. I don't know if you are a meditator or if you pull tarot cards, but there's something that you tap into your own spirit guides yourself, and you do this occasionally. And I feel as though they want you to get out into the nature and to almost like sit on the ground if you can, or lean up against a tree and ask for messages from the elementals. These elementals in nature are very much teachers for us, and they communicate with us and open up our own connection inside. So that's what they want to tell you. That's really, really, really good, Lucy.
That's beautiful. I get that healer energy too for Lucy. When I tuned into you, first of all, I see green around you, and that's where I know that healer is coming in. But I see that you might be changing career paths, or you're moving into a new avenue of your life. There may be some study involved with this, and your guides are telling me that you are very good working with people. That you have a light within you that's very good. So this is obviously where that healer energy can come through. Okay. They're showing me, I also see that you may be working in partnership with someone too recently, or in the near future. If you're not already, you may find a partner and really kind of solidify this relationship, make it more than just a hobby or a side gig. Um, let's see. And I also feel, let me see, there was one other message that just slipped past me. What was that? Oh, and Lucy, okay, this is about relationship. I don't know if you have somebody in your life already. If not, it feels like somebody may be coming in. Perhaps this is that partnership we were talking about. So I'll retract that. If this is not romantic, then it's that business partnership. Somebody who's really going to see eye to eye with you is going to be coming to you very soon. So there you go. That's very exciting.
It's
All
beautiful.
right. Thank you, Lucy. Okay, we'll move on to Jessica Lynn. I have a guide message. Been seeing a lot of animals in random places this week. Is there a message that my guides are trying to tell me? I love that question.
I think that from what your description is, or what your question is, Jessica, is that it is just that. It is that your guides are sending you messages, and it's not necessarily that they mean something else. They just want you to say, "Oh, I got that message. You're sending me a message. I can see you're sending me a message. I can feel you're sending me a message. I can sense this message. This communication is coming through. I know that that's you." It's almost like they want to open up the dialogue. It doesn't have an ulterior motive or meaning all the time. Sometimes it does, but mostly it's an awakening and a connection. They're trying to establish this connection and open up your awareness, and have you say thank you for the messages, and thank you for the connection, and please tell me more, or give me messages in my dreams, or send me a feather and let me know that this is correct, or they want to open up that dialogue. It's almost a way for them to awaken you, or to start opening that dialogue or that connection. I know that they do, but it doesn't always mean something else. It is the occurrence is just that. It is their way of connecting. Say, yes, I know that you're on the other side. I know that I'm being guided. I know that you're sending me messages. Thank you very much. And then they can move into something a little more, So that's what I'm feeling for you, Jessica. And it's not for
Mm.
everybody, but for you, for this, the way you said in random places last week, I feel like
Mhm.
they're like, hello, hello, can you see us? How about here? Can you see us here? How about over here? You're distracted. Can you still see us? And they're almost like testing your awareness. Sorry, I feel like
Mhm.
I'm
Yes,
screaming, but
Jessica Lynn, you said, so just acknowledge. I see I have the word awareness as well in when I jotted my notes. I also feel, Jessica Lynn, so acknowledge that you see it, and the more you acknowledge it, the more that it will become more of a dialogue, right? Um, strong earth connections with you, with the animals too, Jessica Lynn. I feel like you should really kind of sit and ground yourself literally on the ground and touch the earth daily. It's important for you. It will ground you, and it will actually bring you more messages. And this is why I think Jean felt those. What did you say? Elementals or something like that, right? I feel like those all the little earth spirits and the sprites and the fairies and things like that are at your disposal and waiting there to activate your spirituality and your connection to spirit. Gaia, calling Gaia. I almost feel like Gaia is one of your guides. It's so
wow.
important. It feels very important to me. Um, the moon energy. I also was shown the moon energy. So we have the full moon eclipse tomorrow. I would say, Jessica, it's important for all of us, but really for you, I really think that you should, do some kind of ritual, bathe yourself in that moon. I always make moon water on the full moon, drink it the next morning, put a lid on it so you don't get a bee in there or something. Um, but something with the moon is going to be really important to you. It's something will be coming to light with this moon energy, super charging for you, particularly Jessica Lynn. Yes, you do love walking your dog every day. Absolutely beautiful. Blessings to you. All right. Where are we going? I'm going to keep an eye on the time. Oh, we're at an hour here, so we might just do. Are you okay doing like one more reading after
Yeah.
this? Or
Yeah. Let's
okay,
do. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. I don't want to keep Jean too long, but let's see. Who should I? Paisley. Sorry for the rest of you. We'll try to get to you later. Who
Let's
should I
just make
call on?
sure Paisley's still here.
I think I
So
did see her
Paisley,
recently.
so that we're. Oh,
Hmm.
she's here.
There
Good.
she is. Hi. He or she. Yep. Okay. Who should I
Who
call
should I call
on?
on to help me? Well, um, I think this is an inside job, Paisley, and I feel as though sometimes when there's a decision that needs to be made that we don't want to make is almost creates that block, and it's not necessarily a block. It's like an absence of fluidity. It's almost like a stagnant energy instead of being fluid or going with the flow. And there's some sort of a resistance around you and your decision making that is maybe uh, oh, when I think there's a saying that or a phrase that says analysis paralysis. So you may be analyzing something so much that you're paralyzed into making a move or making a decision or making a change. And this often, because our guidance is takes our action in order for our guidance to continue, there is some inaction or indecision that you are holding on to that is not allowing this flow to come through. So even if you don't know whether to make a left or make a right, make a decision, and whatever decision that is, then your spirit guides are able to come in and guide you either on the way that you chose because that was the right way, or back to the other direction that you may not have chosen that was the way all the entire time. So it takes us, it we have our own free will, and by us taking action or making a decision or making a change in our sort of letting go of some resentment or letting go of some outcome that we're like, just praying for, it's really important to let go, make a decision, and to keep in that fluid movement and to trust that we are being guided. So I really feel like a lot of these things are not self-imposed. I'm not trying, that sounds like it's a blame, but it's in our own hands. It's within our own power.
I got the first thing I jotted down was, "Forgive me, Paisley, but it's you are blocking you." And I don't mean that, in a critical way. We do that to ourselves. We're human. So this is asking you to really tap into your higher self, or perhaps into a subconscious part of yourself that is keeping you in fear about something that's coming next. There's some fear. And I wrote down root chakra, something you are afraid to hear or to know about yourself, but actually it's for your higher good. And it's that once you do, it's going to be like a dam breaks and you're going to be like, why did I hold that back from myself? You may not even be aware of it. And your guides, you have funny guides, Paisley. They show me themselves like drumming their fingers, like we're waiting. They're ready to sort of jump into action, and help you into that next phase of whatever that is that you're trying to do, that you believe is blocking you. Sit with some grounding energy, your root chakra, really bathe your root chakra in some beautiful love and light, to release that fear, allow it to be released. I feel like it's kind of clenched tight, and you just need to sort of let it flow. Let your fears, don't let your fears guide you. Allow whatever needs to come, because it will be better for you in the end. Okay. So very interesting that we both get Paisley. I know that's difficult. It's easier said than done, but I know you can
Hmm.
do this. You can do this,
Hmm.
and you do have a big guide team. So we've been over an hour now, and thank you so much. I'm sorry to those whose questions we couldn't get to. It was really nice to get to know Jean a little bit more, and I hope that you guys, if you don't already follow her channel, that you will now. You probably do. She's all over the internet, and we love to see her. By the way, we all loved your show with Kevin Lewis. That was fabulous and
That was a
fantastic.
lot of fun. Yeah, last night. If anybody didn't catch it, we did a collaboration last night. It was a lot of fun.
Really,
Yeah,
really
good
nice.
messages coming through. Very, very strong and important messages that came through. I liked it. It was fun.
And what's coming up for you next?
Oh
Anything
my.
exciting? You've
I
got a busy this lady has a busy calendar, guys.
I do. I'm going to be on with Joan, Wisdom Seeker Joan, for our Magic Monday later on today at 4:30, which is in about an hour and a half, and that's going to be on Wisdom Seeker Joan's channel. And then on Friday, I have readings with Ginny. Ginny B is going to be with me on Friday, and then I have a mediumship show together with Gerald from Tarot Stash, and then Ginger Faye and I, and that's my Friday triple header. If you haven't ever come over on a Friday, it's always so much fun, and so I'm looking forward to it.
It's a jam-packed, action-packed day. Great. Well, you are one of the busiest ladies on YouTube, so thank you so much for taking some time to join us today, and everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you for coming, Jean. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having
Bye-bye.
me. Bye bye.
Bye.